Fun topic for our third topic today. We're going to do a national title contender snake draft. We will both end this draft with six teams on our list of teams we want or believe will win the national championship. We'll snake style it. So someone will have the first pick, someone will have two and three, and we'll alternate back and forth. Who do you want to go first here?
I want to let you go first. I want to let you go first. I
Yeah,
want to let you go first.
I hate that you're doing this to
I
me.
want to let you pick who you want to pick. I just want to let you, you know, I want to let you tell the people, the Good Sleepers audience, who you think the number one national title contender is at right now as of December 10th.
It's so generous of you. I don't know if you even know this or not, but they are not my national title pick right now. But for the sake of this exercise, I will take the team that is the best team in the country, the team that is analytically the most likely to get this done. I will take my Michigan Wolverines first in the national title contender draft.
At the end, will you tell me who your pick is or no?
Yeah, as soon as they get drafted, I'll tell you because I'm hoping they fall to me at the turn here.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, fair play, fair play.
Yep.
Listen, we don't listen to outside noise. I'm focused on my own team here, my own draft selection. Um, I'm going to take Duke at number two pick. I think when you look at the system last year, I still think that they probably should have won the national championship if they didn't crumble at the end of the Houston game. Again, they had freshmen. Houston was Houston. Like that's how it played out for a reason. That's who they were. But Duke, analytically, one of the best teams of all time last year. Very similarly built this year. I still worry about their guard play, but I think by March they will have that figured out a little bit more. And I hope they do for this exercise alone.
Foster's
Number
stepped up
two,
too. Like in
good.
terms of the guard stuff, he's delivered at what we're hoping he delivers a little bit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Good
I
pick.
don't know. I still ponder on the guard play for Duke, like if it's good enough now or not. It's not now. I don't think it's won the championship, but they've shot the ball poorly and not been great off as good as they can be offensively, and they've still been arguably the best team in the country or number two, whatever. So,
Yep, good pick.
um, yeah, there's a few here. There's really only three teams I want to choose from here. Um, I can't take them. I'm gonna stick with the undefeated teams. I don't know if they can win. I'm gonna get the mantra outside of my head, the name brand stuff out of my head. I'm gonna take the Iowa State Cyclones because
Wow.
I have not seen they're better than they were last year when they got to number two in the country last year, and with Keyshawn and Curtis, I think they relied on such explosive spurts from them offensively that when they got cold, it was over. Where this team is much better and much more balanced and sound offensively. Um, I don't know with the tight rotation. Hopefully they stay healthy, obviously, like they didn't last year. They're awesome, and their defense is obviously unbelievable. I'm throwing out of my brain that they are Iowa State in Ames, Iowa, with a young coach because I think CJ Otterberger is awesome, and all those things tell me not to pick them, but I'm going to take Iowa State.
There's a totally reasonable hypothesis right now that Iowa State is the team that we all thought Purdue was. The veteran pass first amazing
Yeah.
facilitator floor general point guard, the best shooter in the country between them, the versatile all-American front court power forward, the transfer center that's just productive as hell, the youth movement at the shooting guard spot that's going to emerge and get better and better. Like it's literally just advanced. It's what we thought
And like,
your Purdue would
and
be.
if you think about it, like player for player, you can argue yeah every Iowa State player over the Purdue players. Like definitely the bigger two spots, and then the point guard spot is obviously the one. But I trust each of the Iowa State players on their own on an island in an ISO ball against the other one against Purdue. I trust Tamin Lipsey to get me a bucket more than I trust Braden Smith right now. I trust Milan Momcilovic more than anyone in the country to get me a bucket at this point.
Right.
But I trust Josh Jefferson more than I trust TKR to go get me a bucket, and I think that plays a role.
Right. I don't blame you after what you saw in Mackey. With that said, I want to virtually spit on you right now because Braden Smith is who I trust more than any point guard in the country. Let's make that
To
extremely
get you
clear.
a bucket or to create a bucket?
Anything. Anything.
Ah, okay,
Point at the
okay.
wrist. Point at the wrist. That's my
He,
guy. That's my
he does
floor
do that.
general.
I want to see the tattoo, by the way, the sleeve. He doesn't show the sleeve. I know he hides it, but
Yeah, he's real careful with it. We'll get that done at the Final Four somehow. We're working on some plans right now. We'll make that happen.
dude, even the interview I did with them, I haven't posted yet. He's wearing an arm sleeve because they were in practice in and out. But I'm like, damn, wanted to see it.
I'm pretty sure Purdue told him he can't show that. That's
That's
my
crazy.
theory. But we got him to show it on the pod one episode, and it's something. It's the real deal, that's for sure. Shameless plug, by the way, Lance Jones Purdue episode for Running Point with Braden Smith. We're recording that tonight.
Nice.
We literally asked this is the first guest we've been like, hey, can we get this? Because Cart and I felt strongly coming off the Iowa State loss, we needed a fourth chair. We just didn't want to do the same me and Cart interrogating Braden. Let's get a new vibe switch in here. And let's bring an enforcer type in. Because I
He
want to
was there
ask Lance.
too.
He was there. I want
He
to
was there.
ask Lance to his face, like, did these boys get punked? What happened? And see what he says.
You got to make Lance hit the. What are they? What are they?
Oh yeah, the da da da. Yeah,
uh.
get through all that. All right, this played out exactly how I wanted. I gotta say, this is my national title pick. I've said it from game one, and I haven't changed it, and I'm not changing it yet. It's the number one team in the country right now, the Arizona Wildcats.
I knew you
Uh,
were gonna take them, man.
I think they're very similar to Michigan. I think in general, Tommy Lloyd is going to have a Todd Golden arc where just one year it happens, and all of a sudden we view him as like, whoa, he could be the coach of the sport for the next 10 years. His teams are always in contention. They're always good enough. They just haven't had the breakthrough yet. The reason I believe this year's team is different, number one, Koa Pete is not appreciated for what he is. He's a top four freshman in the sport to me. He's sensational. And number two, the difference between them and Michigan, why I still hold true, they're more likely to win it than Michigan. They've got the veteran year two transfer guard that Michigan doesn't have.
Mhm.
Jaden Bradley is a guy that can play 40 minutes in March, lock down your best point guard, give you great offensive minutes, and he's not coming off the floor. Michigan might not need it. I know they're versatile, but when we get to March, I am still going to have concerns that Cadeau can be that guy. I am going to have concerns that Roddy Gale can be that guy. I have no concerns about Jaden Bradley. They are my title pick.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I wanted to take them. I was like Ohio State. Something in my gut just saw Iowa State's name and I was like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue against that. Like their size can match up with anybody in the country, like Michigan, and at least limit them a little bit and give them a little bit of a cap to let their guard play kind of prevail. And like we've seen the second year transfer guards, Tristan Newton. You were describing Jaden Bradley, and in my brain I just kept hearing Tristan Newton, Tristan Newton, Tristan Newton. Like his
Yep.
second year, obviously when he had to be the dude, like it made a lot of sense. And Tommy Lloyd, like I've definitely given him shit personally over the last few years. Like he's a first time head coach. He's a Gonzaga disciple, like from a program that is like the championship caliber team every single year. He gets it. He's a Team USA guy. Like he's so good. It would not surprise me if he just cracks it this year. And then we're like, oh, like, okay. Whoops.
Right.
We
Oh,
forgot.
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be an auto pick for me after the big four are gone. Because if you had picked Arizona, I would have picked Iowa State. This was automatic for me in the five spot. I'm taking Dan Hurley. I'm taking
Yeah.
UConn. I'll take the best coach. I think you got to blindly
No.
trust him more than any of the other options.
Yeah. I think they have the highest floor in the country, by the way. I don't like there's no way they lose to a bad team and lose early. Like and watching them every single time, they execute so well late game situations. They're talented enough. Their system is great.
Yeah.
Terrace, everybody healthy. They're I got no problem with that at all.
The one thing
Um,
I'm going to nitpick myself
yeah.
on, and I brought this up to Card on something, the only thing holding me back from thinking this is a UConn year is I feel like you could go through every national champion throughout history, name their best player, and be like, oh, yeah, makes sense. He's a national champ. When I try to do that with UConn, I get on solo ball or Alex Caravan, and it just doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right. Solo Ball would be the guy, I think, if they won a national championship, that
Yeah.
you would say he exploded pause in March and April, and he's the guy that like took over and became the number one option.
Yeah, I agree. All right, back to you for two.
I'm taking Gonzaga without a doubt. I think they're a certified title contender. I think they're one of the best teams in the country. The Michigan game was alarming. It was eye-opening. I don't think it was a friendly matchup, even if it Michigan wasn't as good as they are. Um, I just think that they're a different type of Gonzaga team. They're a team of grown men. They have guys who have missed full years, and they're 24 and 25 and 26 years old by the time March comes around. Mario Saint Supri, El Principito, they call him. Absolutely love that dude. Yeah, dude. By the way, when I met them in Vegas, I fell in love with them even more. Like on a basketball lens, of course. Graham Ike is the greatest. He's terrifying, also
Yeah.
terrifying. But they told me a story. El Principito, he's awesome. He's only going to get better, and their guard play is already good. They're so deep. They're so much better defensively and deeper than they always are. I love Gonzaga. I don't know if this is the year. It'd be awesome if they won it in their last year in the WCC. That'd be electric.
I just Googled El Principito, The Little Prince.
So there's a book called The Little Prince by his great grandfather. His great grandfather wrote the book like years and years ago, and it's a very famous book called The Little Prince. I'm actually, you know what? This post tomorrow, I have that short a video saved in my. I'm gonna post it tomorrow as this airs, so that we don't break news here. I got to make sure I break it from the video. El Principito, they call him.
Unbelievable. I love it. All right, good
Yeah.
pick. I think we had the consensus top six alignment here. Who are you going seven?
It's tough, dude. Let's list them. I just want to actually, I'm not gonna list them out. Let's whatever. I'm gonna take Houston here. I'm a Houston guy through and through. I always have been. This again, like I said about Gonzaga, this Houston team is very different because the Houston that you normally see now is the Houston you know you're going to get in February and March, where with freshmen leading the way and a Kingston Flemings who they have never had a freshman guard this good that I can remember probably ever realistically, or at least in the recent memory. He's unbelievable. I think he could be one of the best guards in the country and a top five, top 10 pick lock at some point by the end of the year. If he gets better, if Chris Sinak and Isaiah Harwell all get better with Miles Zuzan, hopefully shooting better, and Emmanuel Sharp and JoJo Tugler, like it's a team that's deeper. You can rely on more guys than what you can be comfortable with in past Houston teams, and it's also Houston. It's Kelvin Sampson. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same way I picked UConn just blindly for Hurley. I feel like it's worth it at seven to take Kelvin Sampson, like knowing what this team's gonna be as they get a little more experienced. And yeah, it feels like a great buy low moment on Houston. How rare is it that they're outside the Ken Palm top 10 at any point in the season? Seems like sacrilegious at this point. I will say that is the first one that jumbled up my big board because Houston was not in my group of three I was considering next. Now I got to pick two
ooh,
of these three.
okay.
And I'm kind of debating if I want to game this and pick the two I think you're least likely to pick, maybe get all three. I'm not going to, though. I think I'm going to leave one obvious one to you and take the two I like most. I'm going to take Purdue. The Final Four is in Indy. I believe in destiny. I believe in the best point guard in the country. I believe that this is a buy low time for Purdue. They're still the preseason number one team in the country. They're not going to shoot that bad again. I'm just blindly taking them. This one might be a curveball to you. I don't know.
Wait, do you have any worry about the number one preseason number one curse though?
No,
You said you feel in destiny and karma, all these things. I feel like that's kind of line up.
I know it does, but no.
Okay, okay.
Shit. Now I do. Now
No,
it's
no, 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 no. I said the same thing about Texas a few years ago when the Final Four was in somewhere in Texas.
you're scaring me right now.
No, 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 no. You made the pick. You made the pick.
I'm changing the subject. This is my fifth pick, and I will campaign for this team all season long. They have been a Final Four pick of mine. I'm taking the Illini.
I figured that was a team that you were going to try to leave to me to not take, but I think I would have had to take them also. They're awesome. Do you think that they're going to be consistently enough defensively to be able to win a national championship? Because like realistically, someone from the top 12 of the Week 6 poll, obviously, but someone from the top 8 to 10 are the national title team is the national champion as of
Yeah.
right now. Like, do you think that they are belong in that conversation?
Not right now, I don't. I think if I'm being fully transparent, and this is, speaking as a Michigan fan, of course I'm going to say this. They are a Merez Johnson away from being my national title pick. Like the whole concern with this Illinois team for me is physicality and toughness.
Mm,
And they don't have like even in the Ohio State game last night, the Ivisiches were people were going through them. Like the whole pitch there is size and skill, and they are so size and skilled. They're good enough to do it, but they've got to come up with something, some sort of answer for last year. Michigan State punked them, and they whined about it the whole game.
right.
Is the result going to be different this year? The thing I come back to with this team, number one, I think they're better. Like Tom Ivisic, second best player on the team last year, is the fifth best player now because they're more talented. But number two, I think Brad Underwood is rightfully so right now, one of the most underappreciated coaches in America because his teams have always fallen short. I get it. Doesn't it feel an awful lot like the way we would have talked about Matt Painter 2 years ago? His teams were always in the mix. They were
Good point.
always that good. All of a sudden, he's just going to get over the hump one year. And all of a sudden, we're going to feel stupid for doubting that he's been having top 10 teams in the country every single year. I think this is the year. And to the Jade Bradley point, you said Tristan Newton. Kylan Boswell feels a
Oh,
little bit like that too.
so good. He's one of my favorite players in the country. He's awesome. He's so good defensively. He's so smart. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I
You're
got a
right, though.
wicked.
That was the one I was going to leave and hope you let them go.
I
I
don't know
know
if
who
I
you're
would have been
picking
able
next.
to. I don't know if I would have been able to. I don't know if I would have been able to, but yeah, I don't know about Illinois. I just think that they're really high floor. They have a high floor like they've had in the last couple of tournaments, and then they come against a team who's they're clearly outmatched against, or vice versa, or however you want to say it,
Yeah.
who clearly outmatches them, and then they just struggle in that game. The UConn thing, whatever, like they lost by a million that one 2 years ago, but. That was also UConn on their way to the championship. So
Yeah. All right. Two more picks to close it for you. I've got one more at the turn.
this is where, to me, 100%, we're at a point. Actually, no, I'll take BYU. What am I saying?
That was the
Um,
team. That
I
was
was
the
like,
one
wait
I
a minute.
almost stole. Yeah.
I'll definitely take BYU. I don't think they will win the national championship. I think on paper they have the pieces. The one thing that I have loved from them is that they're this younger, more inexperienced team. A lot of new guys also relying on this young talent. They're an offensive-minded team, a free-flowing team for the most part. They have a younger coach who comes from the NBA side. All those things point to struggling earlier on in the season. They have had their struggles for sure, but they were down by 20 against UConn and TD Garden. They came
Yep.
back and tied that game up with a couple minutes left. They were down by 20 plus to Clemson, a team who likes to slow the game down and play tough defensively in MSG, the other Garden, the real Garden, I guess, whatever, Garden. And they came back and won that game on a buzzer beater. Like, they are resilient. They're physical when they need to be. They lock in defensively when they need to. They're very, very resilient. And them being battle tested and succeeding in those battles, even if they did lose that game against UConn, like, so impressive to me. So I'm excited to see when they're losing to Arizona in January and when they're down against Houston, how do they come back? Like, I think seeing this now is going to prepare them well for later in the year, especially the young guys. And AJ, he's got he's got that factor. He's
He
got that
does.
gene. He's got that
Yeah.
gene. So that's my rant on BYU. I would imagine you probably agree they probably won't win the title, but they're fun.
No, they could. I mean, I almost picked them instead of Illinois, hoping to drop Illinois, but it's more on brand for me to have to pick Illinois. So if I had to go down with one of them, I'll take Illinois over BYU. But it's the right pick at that spot. I think if they can, they just got to get AJ to play first halves the way he plays second halves. And if they get that, I don't know who beats this team truly.
Yeah, I mean the Big 12, think about the top of the Big 12, right? Iowa State, BYU, you have Houston, Arizona,
Yeah.
Texas Tech, Kansas, like that is a ridiculous top six of the conference. Baylor's been pretty good too, so
What a gauntlet. It would
I have
not
to
be
pick.
crazy if we closed this draft with two more Big 12 teams.
Yeah, it wouldn't be crazy at all. You're trying to bait me into something though.
I might be. It does feel wide open after this. Like once you
Yeah,
get through the top 10, you're kind of just like blindly putting your faith in the team, you know?
yeah, I don't. Oh man, like I'll tell you who I'm between because I have one pick left. You have one pick left, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am between Michigan State, Alabama, which is very unlike me, and Texas Tech just because of I love them and I know that they're awesome and they have it in them to be great. I just know it's not them to win a national championship. I know it in my bones. It's not going to be them. Sadly, I love them. I love
Why?
them. I
Too
think they're going to be
limited?
great.
Like outside of the big two, just not enough there?
Lawan Watts has not been good enough. He was good their last couple of games. I think it was. I need so much more out of him. And then they just like I just don't trust a lot of their guys between like Donovan Atwell has been shooting the ball nicely, and then it just goes to Ben Boye, who's a block machine and a rim runner, and Tyree Bryant. Like I don't know, it's not enough. And Christian Anderson hasn't been good enough against really good teams, even though it's been early on in the season. So I need to see more out of him. And JT Toppin is stoppable, and you can limit him in some kind of capacity.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a poor man's version of the Purdue teams with Zach Edey. Like
I see that.
again, poor man's version, but you get it. Man, I'm gonna go. They won't win. Michigan State's not gonna win the title, I don't think, but I'm gonna go with Alabama. I usually don't. The pace is the thing, the style they can get taken out of their game. Similar to Illinois, they're a very high floor team because they're so good at what they do. Their guards are unbelievable. Aiden Holloway's breakout is more important than LeBaron Philon being amazing because we knew LeBaron Philon was going to be amazing. Maybe not this good. Like he's like a top 10 pick, lottery pick level player right now. LeBaron is awesome. Aiden is awesome. They have so many shooters. Aiden Sherrill is like a legit center. Taylor Bull Bowen need more consistency, but he's been good. Like they have dudes to be able to go to the Final Four this year, and people have kind of forgotten about them a little bit. They've played such a tough schedule against all these different kinds of teams. Like I like them enough to take them in this kind of exercise at least.
I think that's the right pick, even if you and I both maybe don't want to buy the stock individually in it due to, what we said in the trapezoid segment. Phylon's good enough to have like March Hero vibes to him. We've seen Oates get to a Final Four. You know the brand of basketball is good enough to at least win you 3 or 4 games in this tournament, and then it's a dice roll from there. Even in a single elimination game in the Final Four, do you really want to be playing a 3-point variance team like that? Like it's one of the
Yeah.
scariest things you could match up against. So I'm stuck here. I'm not picking Michigan State. Like I said, I don't think this is the year. I think next year's the year. I thought about Texas Tech, but you talked me out of it as we talked through the role players. That leaves me with two teams that I would seriously consider a possibility for. The runner-up I'm ultimately not going to pick is Florida. And
Interesting.
I thought you might pick Florida.
They got to beat someone good. They got the hashtag beat somebody.
I know. The record right now is spooky. They've had plenty of chances. They've been in all these games, and something just doesn't feel right with it right now. But I might look back on this and be really regretful I didn't just take the defending national champs, and Thomas Howe's been amazing. So I am going to shock myself with this, but I think there's a team that just point blank has an obvious reason they haven't been as good as they will be in March. I think Kansas could do it. I think
Yeah,
that they have established early they're the eighth best defense in the sport.
that's crazy.
It's crazy, but if they're gonna go Tiller and Badunga, I think it's real. Like I buy Trey White's a good defender. I think they've
Yeah.
got bodies. I think this defense is going to remain national title good. They're 50th offensively because they've played half their games without Darren Peterson.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of like they were playing so heavily through Darren in the beginning because that's what Bill Self thought he had to do.
Yeah,
When Darren got hurt, it was the best thing ever for them, as long as he's okay, obviously, which seems like he's perfectly fine.
right.
Because it forces Trey White and Melvin Council and everybody to have to do more. And Marco Jackson, they've each had big games in their own rights, especially Trey White has been pretty consistent. And now you get Darren Peterson back. He looks great from the start. You know he's amazing. You can argue he's the best player in the country. Like you can make that case for Darren Peterson, especially as a guard in March, like you said about LeBaron and Philon. Darren Peterson's got that March gene in him for sure. That he's got that April gene in him,
Yeah.
and the role players and the supporting cast are more comfortable doing more, so you can balance it a little more. And I think it's so important for them. Listen, we're picking at straws here of teams who probably won't end up winning, but I like it.
Yeah, had to do it. All right, so I end up with Michigan, Arizona, UConn, Purdue, Illinois, and Kansas, an appropriate amount of Big Ten love on my list. And then yours is Duke, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Houston, BYU, and Alabama. If there were sportsbook odds assigned to which one of our groups had the winner eventually in this, what do you think those odds would be?
Read me yours again.
I had Michigan, Arizona, UConn, Purdue, Illinois,
Oh,
and Kansas.
I'd probably take yours at a slight favorite of like a minus 200 or minus 175, mine at a plus one, probably even odds it would be, or plus 120 or something like that. Just because those first three are Arizona and UConn after Michigan are a problem.
It was all your generosity for giving me the number one pick with my team. Thank you, Ryan.
Listen, man, you're wearing the quarter zip. I do want to, by the way, you said about Florida. I just thought of this and I looked it up real quick. When Alabama went to the Final Four, that was the year they started 6-5 because they were losing to really good teams, and they all lost to Ohio State, Clemson, not amazing teams. They
Yeah.
lost to good teams, Purdue, Creighton, Arizona. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. It's I think we might both kick ourselves a month from now for maybe overlooking Todd Golden. But hey, here we are.